Alright guys, today what I think should be obvious is that we're doing a video on Iron Cobra pedals. I got this in the mail, and if you saw my post in the community tab, there's a reason that I need this piece to fix this pedal back here, but I'm going to do the old switcheroo with this pedal here for reasons I'll get into in a second. So what we have here is a brand new HP 908 Iron Cobra footboard from the newest generation of Iron Cobra. And as you can see, it is clearly not the same footboard as the older generation of Iron Cobra, but I believe that I should be able to make it fit on there anyway. So the reason I'm having to do this whole switcheroo in the first place is right here. If you look at this footboard attached to this pedal, see this line right here. This is a crack through the aluminum footboard. It is completely broken. If I take this screw out, I could just remove this piece. It is not supposed to be a separate piece, and thus it's a problem. Now I'll tell you why it's broken is because inside of this hinge right here, there's supposed to be a sort of fiber bushing of some sort, and it is, instead of a bearing, is what causes this hinge to actually rotate. And I'll take that apart and show you in a second. But there is not a bushing in there. Also, the O-rings that are in there are completely destroyed. And so somebody played this like this with all this, wiggle in the joint, and it eventually just destroyed the inside of this hinge. So even if this wasn't broken, this would be garbage anyway, because the inside is just completely destroyed. So first of all, to show you that, I'm going to take it apart, which just requires taking these 3 screws out with a Phillips screwdriver. So when I've got that apart, the heel piece is now detached from the base plate, but I still have to take it apart up at the chain. So it's kind of hard to see this, but up here at the chain there is a drum key screw here that holds this mounting bracket onto the footboard. Once you pull that screw out, the footboard comes completely detached from the chain, and then we can work on it as a single piece. So in order to get into this hinge, there's a 7mm nut here, which I just have to take out with a socket. And there's another one on the other side that'll do the same thing too. So with those nuts out, there are 2 Phillips screws here that I have to back out to get this completely apart. So having this broken is probably the best way to show you how it works. Inside of this piece, which is supposed to be attached to the back of the footboard, there's a little ring, and that ring fits into a groove. And then the axle here, part of this hinge, the pin, whatever you want to call this thing, goes into the ring, and that's what comprises the hinge. But unfortunately, on this pedal, when I bought it used off of eBay, there's supposed to be a bushing or a fiber kind of ring that goes inside of this that takes up all the extra space, and that is not in here. There's also supposed to be an O-ring here on the outside, and there is none. And thus, what you get when you have that sort of just grinding around in there is you can kind of see this piece is bent, and it's also worn down. It's not a circle anymore. I don't know if you can see that, but it's some kind of funky shape. It's been sort of ground down by just metal on metal contact. Also, the inside of this part of the hinge, which again is supposed to be attached here, you can sort of see that it's been ground down, so this is actually a bigger diameter. So there was no way for this to clamp down on this, which it was supposed to, and this wasn't riding correctly on this, which it was supposed to, and hence this footboard is garbage. I am going to take the toe piece off of here because the new footboard didn't come with one, and that's just a drum key screw right there. So if you look really closely inside of here, you can see there's kind of a brown ring at the bottom of this slot. That is the bushing that is supposed to take up all that extra space and prevent all that damage from happening. I'm not going to take this one apart to show you because it's working and I don't want to mess it up. Now I could just put this new footboard onto this pedal, but here's the deal, and here's why I'm not going to do that. I bought this pedal so I'd have two single pedals for when I actually play my double bass kit, and I actually kind of want them to match. This footboard is similar to, but not the same as, the style that is on the other single pedal that I have. So I am not going to put this one on. I am going to steal the footboard off of this slave pedal, which does match, and I'm going to put that on, and then I'm going to put the new footboard on the slave pedal. So you're probably thinking, well, that's idiotic, because now my slave pedal isn't going to match my master pedal on this double pedal. Well, this is actually my backup double pedal. I bought it because I was worried about my original double pedal, but that double pedal is doing just fine, and I don't think I'm going to need the backup for anything substantial. So I'm just going to go with this on the slave side of a double and this footboard on the single. So I'm going to go ahead and rip it off of there, and then we'll put it on here. Reassembling this footboard, which is now off of the slave side pedal, onto the single pedal is going to be the process that we just did in reverse. I'm just going to put the screws back into the base plate, and then I'm going to reattach the chain. Okay, now the heel plate is attached, and I'm going to go to the chain side. So again, I just put in this screw here. This is a drum key screw, and tighten it up through the bottom. And then you will notice here that I am missing one of these chain retaining screws. So I'm going to have to either cannibalize one or find something in the toolbox that fits. But I'll make sure that that's pretty tight. Okay, there's a couple steps here that I got to do to make this really playable. One of them is right here. You can see there should be a piece of black felt. And on this pedal, you can see it right there. It's not there on this pedal, which means this chain is just metal on metal against this cam. So while I try to track down some black felt, I'm just going to try to put a piece of nylon webbing in there just so it's not metal on metal contact. The other thing is this chain is sort of rusty, and I'm just going to use bike chain lube to lube that up a little bit. Okay, so I slipped the webbing in there, put a little drop of glue so I can pull it off later when I find some felt, and then of course just have to put a screw in here at the top to hold it. Okay, so there we have it, lubricated and protected from metal on metal contact, at least temporarily. My wife knits, so I know we have every wool product imaginable around here. I'll get some felt for here in a day or two probably. Works like a charm. So I went ahead and repeated the process of installing this new footboard onto the slave side pedal from the sacrificial double, and actually it's going to work great. It's just not going to cosmetically match, and this footboard actually maybe it's going to feel a little different. The main difference between this one and this one, and you can't really tell in the, on the camera, but you can tell if you can feel it. Here the Iron Cobra logo pops in, like this background is sort of embossed out, or whatever you'd call that. And on this black old school one, the background pops in and the words pop out. So that is the difference realistically between these. So will I notice when I'm playing? I don't know, maybe not actually. But I just thought that I'd have two singles that were identical on the footboard. And you know what, if I really need this backup double to be my primary double, I can always do the old switcheroo back around. So there you have it, a fully functioning single pedal P900 Power Glide Iron Cobra, and a fully functional yet maybe not exactly matching slave side to the same pedal, a P900 Power Glide double right-handed with defective footboard removed from the situation. And as with any good project, I do have a literal pile of spare parts, but a lot of this is just junk that I'm going to save off the other broken footboard in case I lose a screw somewhere along the way and need a backup. So cool, thanks for watching, take it easy guys, and I will see you next time.